We have breaking news from Russia, where an American dual citizen was sentenced to 12 years in prison just this morning after pleading guilty to a charge of treason. Now, a judge read that Ksenia Karolina's verdict, which takes effect in 15 days unless there is an appeal. Ksenia, who was living in Los Angeles, was detained earlier this year in January while visiting her family in Russia. She was arrested for, listen to this, donating $51.80 to a U.S.-based charity that supports Ukraine, something she did before she traveled to Russia earlier this year, and something that she did in Los Angeles. Now, the Russians call that donation treason. We should point out that Ksenia is an amateur ballerina. She became a U.S. citizen just 3 years ago. Her conviction comes just 2 weeks after a prisoner swap with Russia that saw the release of 3 Americans. Her boyfriend is joining us now. His name is Chris Van Heerden, to bring us up to date. Chris, this is a stunning twist in this case. And I really appreciate you joining us, because I would imagine right now you are still processing. You just got the news this morning yourself.
Yes. First of all, thank you for having me. You know, I woke up to the news this morning, so I'm still sitting here processing what is happening. How did I end up here? How did Ksenia end up here?
Take us back. She was going home in January to visit relatives. Were either of you concerned that she could probably be in harm's way by doing that? You said this was something she had done many, many times.
Yeah, I was uncomfortable with everything going on between Russia, Ukraine. I was uncomfortable with letting her go home. But me and her had a talk. She convinced me that she's safe to go home. The war is not in Russia, the war is in Ukraine. She's an American citizen. She will enter on a Russian passport. She's a Russian citizen. So she had no worry in the world. Now, I have to say this. Ksenia doesn't watch the news. I didn't follow the news on the war because I didn't think it would affect me. I bought the plane ticket. And that was one of the biggest things I had to do. I bought the plane ticket for her birthday. Her birthday was in December. She wanted to go home. She made it very clear that she wanted to go home. So I surprised her with a ticket to go home. We went to Istanbul. I was going to go with her to Russia, but I just didn't feel comfortable. So I went to Istanbul for New Year's. From Istanbul, she went on to Russia. I came back to LA.
So Chris, help us understand why she was arrested in the first place. She goes $50.81 to a humanitarian charity, correct? In Los Angeles.
Okay, yeah. Let me paint this picture, because this whole trial is bogus. Her being sentenced to 12 years, I'm trying to make sense of this. She's an American citizen that made a $51.80 donation as an American citizen in Los Angeles, exercising her First Amendment rights. She has done nothing wrong. The donation was to Ukraine, so she's been charged with treason for funding the enemy state.
When did she make that donation, Chris?
In LA. She made that donation in LA at a humanitarian foundation that supporting.
When?
2022. So again, look at this. 2022, she made a donation in 2022, charged for treason, a law that was passed in 2023 by Russia. Why are we in this position? Why is Ksenia? Ksenia should be home, and I'm angry. I'm angry, and I'm trying to hold my composure.
Yeah, you're angry, and I'm sure you're very, very scared. Chris, were they targeting her? How did they even know she made the donation? This is what I'm trying to figure out. Were they targeting her in any way?
This is what I'm trying to figure out as well, because at the airport in Istanbul, when she went on to go home on a Russian airline, and I came back to America, we had a very strange interaction with the Russian checking her in. He called someone over, double-checked the screen, and he said to her, "Are you traveling on a different passport as well?" And she said, "I'm an American citizen as well." And they looked at her, looked at the screen, and said, "Okay, you're fine to go." And on her arrival in Russia, she was detained and questioned for 12 to 16 hours on her arrival.
What are you hearing, Chris, from the U.S. State Department? Because it's our understanding that because she is a dual citizen, they do not have access to her. Is that your understanding as well?
Yeah, it's been 8 months, no access to her. Now, I'm very angry because I pushed for the last 8 months. Just look at the picture I'm painting. Just look at this with me. She's an American citizen making a donation in US on American soil, being charged now for 12 years in prison. What is not wrongful about that? So I was pushing for the last 8 months, I was pushing for a wrongful detention so that when we do have a prison swap, that Ksenia is on that list and made a priority. I was slowed down. I was told we have time. I was told, Chris, don't worry, there will be no prison swap until after the election or maybe early next year. So we have time. And I was pushing, but I was pushed back. Guess what? There was a prison swap 2 weeks ago and Ksenia was not on that list.
Right.
How did we slip up? I have questions and I'm angry.
So Chris, are you able to communicate with her in any way? What, if anything, are you hearing from her? And what is your message to the U.S. government today? First, tell me if you're able to communicate with her in your message.
I'm able to communicate with her. I'm able to communicate with her via letters, but these letters are obviously being read by the Russian side of the people. But we are communicating for the last 8 months, maybe twice a month, back and forth with letters. My message to the American government is we have an American citizen here. We have my girlfriend, Ksenia Carolina, the most heartwarming, soft-hearted person you'll meet. She's a good person.
Yeah.
I'm pleading to the American government. I'm asking. I'm not a begging man, but I'm begging the American people to help me get Ksenia back. Help me to get Ksenia. This is it. Why is she not declared wrongfully detained? She's been sentenced to 12 years. Can we get her declared wrongfully detained right now?
Yeah, Chris,
Please.
you're raising a lot.
That's my ask.
You're raising a lot of important questions. Everybody who's listening to you with a beating heart is hoping that she comes back to you sooner rather than later. Thank you so much. I hope someone who's listening to you today that can make a difference and help you. Thank you so much for taking the time. I know this is a very, very rough time for you. You just got this news too. Thank you.